Hi everybody. It is so beautiful outside, and I thought one of my favorite things to do is to read when I'm outside. And I was sitting in my backyard doing some work for school, and the squirrels are all around. And it made me think of this wonderful book called Micawber, which is about a squirrel. And yes, it was written by John Lithgow, the famous actor. And it was illustrated. The pictures were done by C.F. Payne. And my son loved this book, and actually we still love it. So I'm going to share it with you. The pictures in it are kind of dark, but they're beautiful. Micawber. One Sunday in springtime, Micawber arose from his Central Park carousel nest. He straightened his whiskers and polished his nose and set off for the place he loved best. He scampered past pigeons and poodles and geese, past boathouse and bandshell and zoo, past joggers and skaters and mounted police to a palace on 5th Avenue. Do you see him? Right there. He's scurrying to his favorite place. For inside was a splendid collection of art, a sight for a squirrel to treasure, a feast every week for his eyes and his heart, which Micawber could savor at his leisure. Oh, look it, there's windows on top of the building. And there, do you see him? He's jumping up on that big building. Through the windows, he gazed at Van Dyck and Van Gogh, appraised every Rembrandt and Titian. He would scrutinize Rubens, peruse each Rousseau, inspect each Lautrec and Cassatt and Moreau. He would find a new favorite each time he would go, and nobody charged him any admission. So all those big words I just said are the last names of famous artists. He's looking at all the paintings. Do you see him up there? Right there. Little Micawber looking down into the museum. But a stranger appeared this particular day as Micawber peered down through a skylight. She stood at an easel beneath a Monet. Ooh, we read a book about Monet, remember? And depicted a haystack at twilight. Micawber sees her trying to copy the style of Monet. A lot of students who study art try to copy the great artists so that they learn all the techniques they can. But let's get on. Micawber observed her for hours on end. As she copied each texture and shade, he noted the stroke of each brush she'd extend, a rare concentration and care she'd expend. She'd come his unwitting and unknowingly friend, and by the time the day started to fade. So Micawber's up there watching the artist, isn't he? And he likes her so much, he thinks that they're friends. So he hid in the box where her paints were all stowed, while she bicycled home unaware. Then he sneaked himself into her modest abode as she hauled her equipment upstairs. Uh-oh, he followed her home, didn't he? Do you see him? She's carrying her bike in, and there's Micawber right there. Sneaky squirrel. From the box after midnight, the stowaway crept stretched his limbs and adjusted his eyes. And while his beguiler contently slept, he rifled through all of her supplies. It's a very dark picture because it's night, but do you see Micawber right here? He's coming out of the box, and there's the artist. She's sleeping. Micawber's dull life with its tedious toils all at once seemed 100 times duller as he straddled a palette and squeezed out some oils and discovered the wonders of color. Oh, look how happy Micawber is. Do you feel that way when you discover something new? You get happy? Me too. And same with Micawber. He daubed at a canvas with a cadmium green, employing his tail as a brush. Then magenta, vermilion, ultramarine, Algerian crimson, and bright tangerine. Such a radiant rainbow he had never seen, so splashy and lavish and lush. Oh, look. I think Micawber wants to be an artist. Isn't that a wonderful picture? By morning, Micawber was finally done. He was so proud that he practically fainted. He'd been looking at painting from day number 1, but he never a painting had painted. And now he's done it. As the sunlight poured in, he was ready to go, leaving everything just as he'd found it. Through the transom he scrambled, his canvas in tow, rolled up with a shoelace tied around it. So there's the artist, and she's like, my shoelaces, where did they go? Oh, do you see where they went? Tied around his painting. Micawber's taking his painting with him, isn't he? A truck trundled by as Micawber alit. On the side it said, Park Sanitation. He bounded aboard it, ignoring the grit, and completed his peregrination. So he's gonna hitch a ride on the garbage truck. Do you see him? He's holding his painting. He returned 30 times by that following fall, and the paintings poured forth like a geyser. He fastened them all to his living room wall, and the woman artist was never wiser. Do you see? There's Micawber in his house, and all his paintings are there. So he kept visiting the artist's home and making paintings with her stuff. So if some July you should chance to pass by a Viridian Central Park Dale, looking around for a squirrel with a gleam in his eye and some paint on the tip of his tail. You see all the squirrels? There's Micawber. There's red paint on his tail. Do you see? And if you should visit the old carousel, look up at its uppermost part. Inside, although nobody ever could tell, a talented squirrel continues to dwell. And if you try, you can picture it clear as a bell. So that's Micawber's house. He lives way up there. Micawber's Museum of Art. So look at all the animals go to see Micawber's paintings. And here he is doing a self-portrait. That's the end. And it was written by Mr. John Lithgow. And just seeing my squirrels in my yard made me think of this book that is so good. I hope you enjoyed this spontaneous story time and that you're outside breathing in the fresh air and enjoying this beautiful day. Bye!